the Happy Hour podcast with your host, Joel Fleischman.
Hey, welcome to the Joel Fleischman Happy Hour podcast, episode number 60. I have Andy Hopp here today, and I have Danny Thimmig. Got that right. Thimmig. Flooring leader here at Drexel, design leader at Drexel, and we have him here today. A lot of the subject's probably going to be trends, it sounds like, maybe some value-added stuff, and then we'll just see where it goes from there. Cheers, everybody. Happy Hour.
Cheers.
We've got the Drexel Horse Medicine, and we've got Central Waters, our sponsor. Who can say that? Wisconsin Red Ale. Is that a play on how you say Wisconsin, like Wisconsin? I don't know what that means.
No idea.
It's sing.
Too bad we didn't know a guy there.
Wisconsin Red Ale. Well, cheers.
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 Apparently I haven't had it before because I don't know how to say it. Your first horse medicine, or have you had?
My first horse medicine.
No, I've had some. It's a hit with our family as well. My
All right.
son, yeah.
Good.
It's good.
Can you hear Andy okay? Andy, maybe bring it in a little bit. You good? Bring it in.
Andy the best.
You can. Okay.
Actually,
Let him talk the whole
bring it
time.
in anyways.
Okay.
Bring it in. There we go. Okay, great. Well, welcome, guys.
Thank you for
What'd you think
having
of
us.
the horse medicine?
It's good.
Yeah? Explain the flavor for those that haven't had it.
I would not be the person
You're
to
not that
explain
person.
that. No.
I call it a Coors Light with a little something extra.
I was going to say that. Not that I
Like a creamier Coors Light.
Maybe.
Not really.
I'm a Busch Light person.
Yeah, so it's really, this is like really, this is like really harsh for you, right?
Yeah.
Or
I get
Malibu.
it.
So yeah, it's
Yeah,
different.
Malibu and
Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi.
Malibu and Diet Pepsi. So later in the night, Malibu, or earlier in the night?
All day, every day.
Yeah, that's just your go-to. So if they don't have that, you'll drink Busch Light?
Yes.
The can looks like a Coors Light, like the color of the silver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My wife, Pam, hi honey, she doesn't listen or watch, but I always tease her. I'm like, I married a Bud Light girl, and she's not a Bud Light girl anymore. She's vodka and expensive vodka and seltzer usually. So.
Well, and my wife,
With lime and lemon.
is very much a Bud Light. She,
Oh wow.
yeah, she loves her Bud Light. Just has to be cold.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the big
cold.
thing.
Ice. So shout out to John Stoker from Victory. He always has his beer with ice.
Really? Okay.
Yep, always has his beer with ice. He likes it really cold. I actually think he's a smart drinker as well, because that waters down. He's kind of like an alcohol pusher. He's a partier. So he's like, come on, Joel, finish that. I'm like, you're drinking that with ice. It's literally watered down beer, and he drinks light beer, and then, and it's on ice. So you're drinking half the consumption of my glass. Smart. It's a smart move. It's a smart alcohol move. So anyways, well, welcome aboard, guys. So we originally scheduled this, truth be told, in February, because you went on the March Parade of Homes in Minneapolis. Minneapolis is a high trend area. For those listening, where do building trends come from? Pre-internet, things are changing, but pre-internet, still that way. Now it's quicker. They would start on the East and West Coast. It would take about 3 years to get our conservative, not changing the people I love here in the Midwest. I think I can say that. I don't think I'm ever moving to the East Coast or West Coast. So my people here in the Midwest, to change, it would take at least 3 years. And then it would actually start in Chicago, get to Milwaukee, and then get to the Fox Valley, Berlin area, probably another 3 to 4 years. So we might be 8 years behind, and we were totally fine with that. So, and we still never hit the peak trend or the low trend.
Right.
We're always still somewhere in the middle, as maybe trendy people don't want to hear that. Now I would say Madison, because of the influx of UW-Madison people, that tends to be a bit more trendy. Although I went through the Parade of Homes, and in the state of Wisconsin, the homes do look, the trends are a lot the same. We're seeing very similar trends all the way from Madison to the tip of Door County to Kenosha. Very trends are kind of the same, but people still want unique, right? It's still custom, so it's trends within trends.
Right. Yeah,
So,
we are bound
yeah.
a little bit by our climate.
Yeah.
Right? So unlike the East and West Coast, a lot of places, no foundations, no basements, outdoor living isn't quite as big because
Yeah.
our season is so limited. So that does affect our design a little bit.
Yeah, there's an international, right, worldwide builder show every year, typically in Las Vegas or Florida, hugest convention center. Builders are like, Joel, you got to get here. We have people that work here. Joel, you got to go. You're the owner. You got to stay up on your trends. I'm like, okay, I'll go. And too many beers, and all that convention stuff, right? But I went, and I don't go anymore. because I was wildly disappointed. The product that I would see that was cool, first, the reps aren't that trained. It's usually the local rep in their market, right? So I went to 1 year in Vegas, 1 year in Florida. This rep is literally the Las Vegas, Nevada rep. I'll be like, what's the product? And they'll tell me, and I'll say, is it available in Wisconsin? You know, it'd be really exciting. Like, that's really cool. We should stock that. It's available in Wisconsin. I have no idea. Well, who's my Midwest distributor? I have no idea. Can I buy it direct? I have no idea. Further questions, no idea. I'm like, okay, that. And then go to the next booth and the same thing. That was wildly disappointing. But to speak to what was more disappointing was so many things outside of our climate. 20-foot patio doors that hinge open.
Yeah.
That's not going to work. And you're seeing that a little bit of the trends is I wouldn't recommend putting these huge patio doors in Wisconsin. Looks really, really cool. Looks really cool on Pinterest.
Wide or tall?
Both.
Both.
Our houses move because of the weather climate extremes. You know, one day we can have a day that starts at 0, you know, with no sun. The sun beats down and it gets to 60. That's probably a 90-degree shift in that climate on that window in one day. And then on the inside and outside, right? On the inside it's 70, on the outside it's 20 below. That window's going through some bad stuff holding, right? What things you don't want doors and windows to do, bow, twist, and move.
And when they both twist and move, they get drafty and cold, and you're in the
Don't
house
open
freezing.
and don't open and don't close.
Yeah.
So we don't want that to happen. So a lot of things aren't available, should not be available in our climate. They might even be available, probably shouldn't be sold in our climate. So that was a big thing for sure. As trends different change. But anyways, we now have interest. We now do have the internet. We now do have Pinterest, and everybody can see everything in real time. Everybody watches HGTV. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Can be very frustrating because they say, I want that piece of tile, and you're like, first of all, you have to be able to budget it.
Correct.
They've already done the research, so they already know more than you.
Yep.
It's unlimited, but yet that's our awesome opportunity and responsibility to have those conversations.
Yep.
How often does that happen?
I would say quite a bit. Everybody has a Pinterest board. A lot of times they're sharing it with our salespeople before they even come in for the meeting. So at
Do you
least we
recommend
can-
that?
I personally do, so we can do a little background homework prior to them coming in and order samples in and do whatever we would have to
I think
do.
it's great. Don't come in blind. There's so much out there. Come in with what you want. We can get, you know, we're custom. We can get anything, and we can recommend anything, but we do need to know what you like. You know, so don't set us up to fail and be like, show me your showroom. If you're watching to say, ideally. Do you need an appointment?
Yes.
We prefer an appointment, yes. Not that we'll push you away if you show up, but yes, we can be prepared. We can have the right salesperson, the right team on hand to help you.
Right, so if you are listening as a customer or a builder, please have the customers call ahead and make an appointment. We can give you the best possible customer service. Probably similar to a restaurant. I can set 8 people at 6 o'clock if you call ahead. If you don't, it might be a little crazy. PG Magoo's, no reservations needed, right? You guys make it happen.
Not typically.
But if it's a big party, you probably would like a heads up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people like come in like on Friday night with like 14 people and like, come on. Like we're not gonna turn you away. But like
So think of it the same way for those listening and watching. Think of it the same way in the housing, right? You're gonna come in for a 2-hour appointment. Minimum,
Right.
sometimes, and
Yeah.
hopefully less, but 2-hour appointment or hour-and-a-half appointment, and a very selective one without an appointment. You know, let's make this. We can do better. Get an appointment. We'll give you our full attention. We'll set a start and we'll set a stop. And for those customers and for you guys to help your team, I always set a stop time, and I always make it 90 minutes max, no matter how big the house. Hell, we're just going to take a deep breath. Or come back a different day, but you can get a lot done in 90 minutes. That way everyone knows where we're at. And not all of them take 90 minutes, but we should always say it's 30 minutes, it's 60 minutes, because then we know what start and stop. Hey, we got 15 minutes left today, let's focus. And if we have to regroup, we have to regroup. Obviously, there's times where we are picking out truly custom 7 bathrooms, 6 bedrooms, right? I mean, that might be a multiple day meeting.
Right.
Interesting stuff.
Well, and I think we need some time to develop that relationship with these people, because a lot of times it goes beyond the direct questions you ask. To do a really good job, we have to get to know them, their family, a little bit about their lifestyle. Then we can start to do what Danny and I do and what our teams do, you know, better, because we know what questions then to bring to them.
What are your favorite questions to ask customers when they're doing selections? I have a couple go-to, so I'll play the game with you guys as long as I'm putting you on the spot. What are your favorite go-to questions?
Mine is, what pets do you have? Because you wouldn't guess that, right?
No, but I would be there too. I mean, if you have 3 dogs, that's gonna go on a totally different flooring
Oh,
than
yeah.
this
For
conversation.
sure. It leads
Yeah.
you to the flooring direction and then I'll
Does it
take
actually?
It does.
Yeah, because they can scratch, right? They can
Yeah.
they'll wear and tear much more. Animals are really hard on floors. Think about it, right?
Yeah.
And that's how I make my connection with people as well. 'cause
Also,
I
she's a
have
huge animal person.
I
So,
have
Yes.
2 of everything.
so you're looking for a
so
personal connection as well as professional protection.
dual purpose.
Another to go to.
Kids, again, connection and to see how they're gonna live in their home.
Right.
Get to know them, talk about kid stuff.
Sometimes that leads to how long they're going to live in the home, which again leads to a budget, right? If it's your forever home versus a 3-year home,
Yep.
flip home.
Yeah. Oh, I like to start with, when you think about, when you dream about your new home, what is the first picture that comes in your mind? Because that gets you to what is really their
Andy's like that
primary
mic
focus.
drop guy, like, okay, I get it. Right? Like,
Come on.
duh, I mean, what kind of pets do you have?
No, but that comes
Right.
comes up, right? Because you're absolutely right. If they have pets, this is, where's your back door? Because you got to let the dog out to go to the bathroom or whatever. All of those things are part of the design consideration. You know, what makes the house livable for you and your family?
How do you foresee using the house? Right?
Yeah,
Are you a
yeah.
huge, well, what do you mean? Right, because that's usually be like, they're going to ask you a follow-up question, like, are you a big host? Like, do you have a lot of people over? Because
Yeah.
people think everyone does the same thing, right? Do you entertain a lot? So again, what would that matter, Holden?
Yeah.
That would lead me away from carpet. That would lead me to a hard surface, something easily clean. You know, something that's kind of private. Do you clean your own house or do you have somebody clean it for you? Which I probably should. I probably never asked in my life, but a lot of people back then, you know, when I was selling 15, 20 years ago, people didn't have a lot of cleaning. A lot of people have cleaning people now. If you have a cleaning person, you're not quite as concerned about mop-up issues as if you don't, right? So that's a conversation to be had for sure. Yeah, and do you have something in mind? Is a super easy one, which of course is kind of a no-brainer. Have you been to other places? I'd love to know. No, that's a twofold thing. Have you been to other places? Because I want to know what experience you had, and were you happy there, and who I'm going up against, right? And am I going up against anybody? And are you a tire kicker and a shopper?
Right.
Yeah, we've been all over.
Yep.
Am I one of your 6 stops? Am I the only stop? Am I your last stop? I don't mind people going to other stores. I mean, they do whatever they want. They're humans. But
Right.
if we're 3 of 6, come back when you're ready to buy.
Yeah.
We're just going to browse today. I've learned too, people are just browsing. Let them just browse. You know, when I was a little older than Holden's age in my early 20s, I would hawk them. Right? I'd be like, what do you want in the store that we have? Right? No one just browses flooring. Like, you just didn't wake up today and say, we should go look at carpet. Leave me alone. So, like, why are you in the store, right? So now I just let them browse. If you do have any questions, please let me know. If not, I guess you're just truly browsing, which I don't know if they're secret shopping or if whatever they're doing, but.
Yeah. It's fun with new home clients to get to an idea for where they want to go with this. Like the interesting thing in Minneapolis is all of those homes were very much people who were not going to stay and retire in those homes. They were all 2-story homes. Not one of them had a master bedroom on the main floor.
Not a one.
This is telling me you are when your kids move out, you are moving, right? None of you are going to retire in these homes. It also tells me that the people were very much about, we want to make the best experience for our family right now. You know, all of them had sports courts, right? Finished off lower level. They wanted their home to be a place where all the neighborhood kids could come and play in their basement, right? Or because we came through COVID, I think everybody kind of realized that, hey, if I get trapped here, if I have to work from here, if I have to do my workout here in my house through the whole winter, what do I need in my house to make, I call it, my home is my castle.
I would say the house is the center of my life.
Yep.
Right.
This
Yeah.
is what I can do things. Do you know what a sport court is, Holden?
Like a basketball court and stuff?
Yeah, so it really is, go ahead, I guess scroll some pictures. So Holden, you know what sport courts are?
Yeah.
Right, so it is almost standard within large custom houses. That's an exaggeration, but there is a high percentage of people that will do sports courts now in homes, which even 10 years ago, that was absolutely for the elite. I do think more and more people are attempting to get as much square footage, and they use all their square footage, which is genius. If you can get a high ceiling in your garage, put up a hoop. Why wouldn't you? And you do look like a baller, right? I mean, it's a wow factor build these days.
There you go.
right?
There you go.
Like, to me, that is just an absolute wow factor. Does not actually cost that much. Isn't that ball they're holding?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, like you just smile when you see it, like, yeah.
And then most of them had little fitness rooms as you enter in with work.
And will we furnish sport courts?
No.
No, would we put down
We would do like an
Comparable?
exercise floor.
an
like
exercise?
rubber-
So
the rubber
go back,
mat.
Holden, right? So again, that's a kind of a conversation, right? Like, so a sport court, no, but do people know what a sport court is, right? Like if I'm doing a sport court, I just want LVP that looks like that.
Sure.
Like I don't need sport court. So I think it's a little bit of training for your team too, and for the customer.
Right.
Do you actually want a sport court, which is a foam rubber based, high end product that you're going to pay $40,000 for that, right? Because that actually the colors are probably not painted on; they're probably built in. Do you actually need that, or do you just want a birch, birch maple, light maple color LVP that simulates a sport court? We can do that all day, right?
Right.
That we can do.
Right.
Interesting. What works really good in that is carpet tiles.
Really? Right on the concrete?
Yeah, there actually are full-blown middle schools that have carpet tiles as their court. And they work actually really well. The ball will actually come back really well. You got little skid marks when you fall down, but again, how often are you really going absolutely full speed there? So don't be afraid to promote carpet tiles there. All right, let's just scroll through these and see if we got comments on any. Let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
So these are actually the pictures of the parade of homes, correct?
Right, yeah. Yep.
So there, what are we looking at there? Go back. Right, so clean lines on the windows, simple grid patterns, black on black.
A lot of the black on black.
Yep.
Big windows in the main living area. A lot of them weren't even functioning though. This one is, but
A lot of, stationary picture windows, they don't all have to open.
Well, again, stationary picture windows, we talked about before the podcast. How can you add value in the home and bring the price down by having perceived value? Don't forget, we talked about moving parts. A stationary window is easy to build. It's way cheaper, and it doesn't open. So what? It's super energy efficient, right? And if you are, and again, Pam, I love you. I picked on you twice. If you're my wife, that we either have the heat on or the AC on, I'm not going to argue with you, honey. We've been doing this 22 years. I back you now. If we have the heat on or the AC on, 365, which a lot of, Pam, my wife is not the only one, right? Picture window would be the way to go. You get rid of that middle line there holding too, right? It would be wide open.
Right. So
Okay.
visually, it's better,
Yeah. I've always told customers, I said, the reason you have a window is what? To see the outside. Why do you have all these stuff going on?
Yeah.
Right, besides the looks. Okay, what else?
There's a design
there.
trend that's called biophilic, where you're trying to bring the outside in.
Yeah,
Right,
Frank Lloyd
and
Wright.
that's how we apply that in Wisconsin is, we put a lot of windows in.
Or wood, but that's not fully true. Outside in is you're actually bringing a lot of wood.
Is that people
A
have
lot
like
of-
plants inside? Or
Yeah,
field?
yeah. Frank Lloyd Wright obviously was probably the most known for that, a Wisconsin architect, one of the world's most well-known
Yeah.
architects, right? I've been through a few of his houses. He would actually have a waterfall from a creek running through his house. He wanted to actually experience, you probably know more about him than me, he wanted to actually experience the outside within, which led to a lot of very, very simple designs because the outside world is simple. And led a lot to wood and a ton of glass because you wanted to feel like you were in and out. And if you think about it, health reasons, there's a lot of health reasons for that
Biophilic.
biophilic. That's
Yeah.
great.
And you'll see here we have a wood beam on the ceiling, but you'll see in some of the other slides, a lot of actual real wood beams in the kitchen areas and stuff are popular again.
You'll
Or
see
a
that.
trend coming back.
I'm super against it, but you'll see that they'll actually try it, right? They're making a kitchen or a wet bar into an actual soft space by putting that shelf into it. Right? That's a very trendy thing. I don't love it. It doesn't give you a lot of storage. It's it's got the look, but it doesn't do a lot functional, and I'm more of a functional designer, but that's very trendy right now as well. So that's actually just a bracket that's applied.
Yep.
But that's very popular as well to me. I pop a $300 TV there all day long. Hey, Holden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch football with one meeting than have
Yeah.
a bottle of
Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. What are we looking at there, Andy?
Well, one of the things, you see all the steps up, because structure-wise, they're using all floor trusses, main floor, upper floor.
This is horrible if you're listening to this, so I apologize.
So
If you're listening, what we're doing is we have a screen set up and we're actually looking at the design trends from Minnesota. So right now we're looking at exterior trends and we're looking at a picture of a front entryway. So
Inside
Yeah.
ones are cooler.
go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, no, but that gives you the steps up to the front door. That's kind of old school, right? Whereas a lot of trends now are barrier-free access. So because of their structural, the way they're doing things, a lot of steps up to the front doors.
I think that's horrible.
Yeah, I don't like those.
I think that's horrible with people living longer in the baby boom generation. Why you would have the minimum amount of steps and the most handicap accessible as possible. I mean, 3 steps is going to be pretty tough for Grandpa. You should put a handle there, right? My dad would say. Now, if you look at that siding, what we're looking at here is there is a lot of siding going on, right? You got 2 different patterns. You got a lot of trim work, a lot of details for those siding exterior specialists listening, and for the quarterbacks listening. That's a walkthrough. That should not be done off a plan to ordering, right? We need to get on site and saying how are you going to actually because the MLP, our estimators, will estimate that, but there's so many details in this little screenshot that we're showing.
Right.
And with non-returnable product that's very expensive. So this is a truly thing. Grays continue to just underwhelm me, but grays are so popular. It's amazing. Are they still popular, Danny? Right. The beautiful thing with grays, I was told that by Shaw, gosh dang, 10 years ago we went there. And the Shaw people said gray's going to be in. And I'm like, no way, that's so boring. Like neutrals are going to be in, but you can accessorize it and refresh things every year when new colors come out. So like if you're looking at that, right, I can put a red hydrangea there and it's just going to pop, right? But if reds are out, I can put some yellow lilies there and it's going to pop. So I do, and they said gray's going to stick around. And now that it is, I do see that because again, you can accessorize that like crazy.
The other thing, it's one color, but 3 different textures just on the siding.
Absolutely.
You have the shake look, and then you have a 4-inch lap, and on the main house, you have an 8-inch lap.
It's if you look close, it's amazing level of intricate details.
Yeah.
Right, which gives it a really big pop, right? You got shake, you got the horizontal, you got a really cool bracket there, you got some soffit details, you got some arch, that's an 8-foot front entry door, which is huge. Yours, Holden, would be like 6'8", so it's a big, tall entry door. You got that mirror tech going around, which is a softer white, and you got a little bit of stonework. I mean, there's a lot more than the first eye might appear. All right, next.
Big entry doors at most of the homes.
Yeah, I
with
think
glass
everyone
in.
was 8 foot.
I put 8 foot in my first floor, and I would do it in every house I ever live in. It's a subtle wow factor. It's cool. Again, you want to feel like a castle.
Yep.
It lines up well with the windows. Just do it on the first floor. No one would ever know in your basement or your second story. Like, what a waste in your second story. Who the hell goes in your second story but the kids, right?
Yeah.
Kids' friends, they don't give a shit.
Right.
Save that money. But the wow factor for an 8-foot door, you're talking a couple $100 extra per door. And the first floor usually is really open too. So like in my first floor, I think we might have 8 doors. And that includes the master bedroom. So I think 8-foot doors are absolute no-brainers.
So at $200 a door, 8 doors, $1,600.
Totally different look, right? My opinion.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. And see how the windows are up at that 8-foot height as well, which is really high for windows. So those are actually very tall windows.
We're seeing that modern farmhouse on here. What we're seeing right now is complete white exterior with black on black.
Yep.
Super popular, super trendy. I would be personally, again, it's a podcast, so I can say whatever the hell I want, right? I think you're going to look back and say that was a 2022 trend,
Yep.
and it's going to get updated really quick. I caution anybody to do it, because I think you're going to say that house came from the 2020s. I don't think it's going to be long for this world. If you love it, go with it. Don't worry about it. Like I said, these aren't forever homes for people. Go with it, but I would be concerned. Again, tons of detail on the exterior. Board and batten, almost checker framed, right? A fake porch detail. What would you call that?
Yeah, the which part?
The fake roof there.
Yep.
Over the 3 windows.
Yep.
Really extreme stonework, very thin window lines. I mean, it's pretty interesting.
And the big high roofs over the garage, because almost every house had bonus rooms above the garage.
So they use it as a bonus room.
Yep.
What's it? You know what a bonus room is?
Like
So within a truss, you build a truss, right, over a house. Within the truss, they'll actually design a room in there. So that would be hence a bonus room. It's not a real room, but it's within the trusses, so they use it as a room. So it'd be real long, tall, and then just one box. But you're using the square footage correctly.
Right.
Again,
You
if
gotta
you
put a
wanna-
roof over that garage anyhow, why not
Yeah.
raise it
Why not
up?
raise it up and use it? And again, we can use that as a game room for the kids, poker room for dad, again, sauna room for mom, workout facility, office space, 5th bedroom, and there's a lot of things there. Other thing you could do with that was hand frame it, and again, there's your sport basketball court, potentially.
Which I think most of those were like off the garage that way. weren't
Yeah,
they?
usually in behind the garage, so they continued.
Right, because you just make it a longer garage, and then we got a little hoop space.
I'm gonna scroll through, and you guys can pick
Yeah.
the really cool ones you wanna talk about. 'Cause
Okay.
Because you think we're getting too detailed?
You're not gonna be able to.
There's 65 slides, so.
Oh, yeah, That's cool. If we
We're
get
not
to
the
3, we get
six.
to 3, okay. Yeah, now we're seeing some of those same
Tell me when
things.
to stop.
Right there, go back.
This one or this one?
Yeah, there's the
So
wood.
this is like a Joel Fleischman cheat code in my opinion. If I look at the lower left, so almost every home these days has a covered porch, either in the front yard and then sometimes the other yard. That is a very high-end material. That is either clear cedar. You see there's no knots in it, extremely expensive. I don't geek out on clear cedar. I think God only made so many trees without branches. You're paying an astronomical number to have that as clear cedar for no reason. But on my house, I actually have tiger wood. That is actually an exotic hardwood. I never even stained it. I wanted to see how it held up. Since it doesn't have UV rays, it looks exactly like that the day I put it down. I would go wild with wood, natural wood above any front porch, soffit, wraparound, or back soffit. You can see that. To me, and I love wood, so you can see both of them. That might cost $100 more than an LP or aluminum soffit, maybe $200, $300 if it's aluminum. Absolute wow factor, absolute no-brainer. Any house if it's me.
Yeah. Look at the one on the right bottom corner is more of a white.
Yeah,
aluminum
right.
or
To
something.
me, it does nothing. It does absolutely nothing, and you do the wood, and I think it just pops like crazy. That's me. And again, that's that transition from the inside to the outside. There you go back to the wood again. There you go back on an inside detail. One more, hold on. There you go back on an inside detail. Really, really, what's that called? Eye look? Like it looks like an eye.
Like eyebrow.
Eyebrow. I don't like it, but that looks like somebody's trying too hard, in my opinion.
Well, and this was, you can't judge from these pictures.
Danny's like,
but-
we should have went with Joel.
Yeah. The front entry was this eyebrow, and then this was in the family room behind.
But look
the
how it
house.
ties in. I think you're
Yeah.
just trying too hard. Some designers trying too hard.
Yeah.
And very, very expensive. An eyebrow like that, and again,
Oh.
I'm a value guy. You're paying, but again, it's very unique, and we're talking about it. So if you like it, go for it. Who am I?
There's some of those.
Those,
Go
these
back,
are,
go back,
yeah,
go back.
that's a bonus room above the garage.
Which again, bonus room above the garage. I mean, that's a pretty beautiful space.
Yeah.
What are we looking at for flooring? Right back, right there, Danny.
Tile. Still a lot of the herringbone, both on the floor and in backsplashes.
How much does herringbone cost more? Like just in that space, like just in a little
Just
8x10,
to lay it?
like an 8x10 space. I want herringbone, like just 8x10.
I'd
I want
say
herringbone and regular.
$3 to $5 a square foot extra.
Right.
So
So 8x10 room, 80 feet, 8 times $400, $500 just for a very small porch. Which again, for $500, if you love herringbone, go for it. Again, to me, I don't get it, but I know that's very trendy herringbone, right?
it is. Even a lot of LVPs now come in herringbone patterns.
Okay, interesting. And that locker there, these lockers are still very, very popular. I'm super anal. My lockers have to have doors on. I could not. I love how that looks. That ain't how it's gonna look when you got
When
little
you're
Johnny,
actually living
little
there.
Johnny, little Susie. I've been in so many people's houses. That looks like shit. Put some cabinet doors on it, but again, way more expensive to put actual cabinet doors on it. But to me, that's complete gimmicky, unless you're not me and can live with a mess in your pantry, which a lot of people can. I could not live that way.
Or if there's a closet around the back wall
Yeah.
where you actually put your shit in.
My God, please hide it. I'd take 20 minutes when I got home to just clean that up every night.
The mud rooms were huge though.
Yeah.
Very, very large mud rooms.
Yeah, and mudrooms mean laundry jar room, washer. I mean, it is a space. It is not small spaces.
Here's the kitchens with, go back.
Go back,
hold
yeah.
on. There's with the wood beams, not quite so far. There, yeah. There's the wood beams on the ceiling that was very popular.
Yep, extremely popular wood beams, gives you that farmer craftsman look. Again, there's some value right there, so that's just 5 pretty simple beams, screwed and attached up. Wouldn't be super expensive to do that in any house.
Yep.
You have to source them, you gotta find them, but that's not super, super expensive. You see some real clean looks there. Everything's real clean and neat, right? Not ornate, more simple.
The other thing we saw a lot of, stay there, is the ceiling, added drop ceilings around different ceiling levels. Because generally it was 10-foot ceilings, and then you can drop to a 9-foot or whatever, do
Right.
some things with the lighting or with the beams, create what I call implied space in a open concept.
And you can build that right in the truss design. So work with our team, work with our truss designers. They can actually build that down. So again, there's more work at the truss factory, more cost of the truss, but very little labor.
Right.
A little more drywall labor, but they're just setting that truss with that look.
Yep.
Don't build that down by hand. In my opinion, don't build that down by hand. Your framers are gonna hate you and charge you a ton for that. Have the truss companies build those. It's kind of fun. We can do this like every week. Holden is
Well,
like,
go back, see
Holden,
this
1 to
ceiling?
10, you have like, I can tell you have 0 interest in this,
No,
right?
actually, this is one of the most interesting ones.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Shocked. You seem like you're bored off your butt.
Yeah. See, here's what they did with the ceiling. That's a, like.
No, that would be built down. That wouldn't be
Yeah.
at the truss point.
But that's a, relatively
That's not
inexpensive
moving
to
outside.
do.
No, so the build down could be from the trusses, that going back and forth.
Yep.
That's a couple 2x4s.
Yep.
That's a guy's half. That might be $600
Yeah.
total. Like, again, the uniqueness of that is super cool without much of a cost.
And look at how
Why
they
would they
built
build?
them.
Why would they build that back in there just for looks?
Yep, and in this one, I think this was the one with the very cool center hallway upstairs. That was, really impressive. We may have a picture of that in here.
Danny, talk to me about this carpet. Go back.
Pattern carpet, there was a lot of pattern carpet. A lot of times we're just doing it on steps, but more and more we're doing it in bedrooms, living rooms, places like that. Not crazy pattern, but just has a little bit of texture to
And there's
it.
like no, this thing is just like, there's no texture. I mean, that is no, what do you call that? Berber?
Plush,
Plush.
It's not
I
like
don't have the
super
right terms.
fluffy
Right,
or
not, yeah, right. Look at that, how
cloudy
tight that
underneath,
is, right? It's almost an heirloom. Is that called a loom? Go back. Go back. I want us to watch that. Right, so again, we're gonna have a pattern talk conversation for everybody watching and listening. You said do it on steps. If I'm selling you a house and we're doing new construction, your stairs, if you're carpeting them, is gonna be a pattern, in my opinion. Again, somebody's telling me I'm crazy. You're talking $300-400 more?
Maybe.
Maybe. Go crazy with your pattern carpets. Usually they're open, and even if they're not opening, you're transitioning from one room to another. It's a big wow factor down the steps or up the steps. Go nuts. Put the zebra pattern in there if it's a finished basement. Upstairs, go with the Oriental look. Go with I call it the Vegas look, right? Or go simple, but use pattern. It's a few $100s more. You're transitioning from room to room. There's nothing good that can kind of be done in that area, and we'll do it for you. So let us help you pick that out and make something pop. And it's highly patterned, so again, we don't want to go with a real plush carpet there anyway that you're probably using upstairs in the bedroom, which would have been traditional, just run it all the way through the stairs. People are still doing that. That's looking real worn down. I know I have that at my house. After 4 days, that looks like that needs to be vacuumed.
Yep.
And probably does. If we would have went pattern there, it's all good.
And it still looks nice if you meet up to a flush at the top of the stairs.
Beautiful.
It still flows together nicely.
It does. The right transitionship, the good flooring designer takes care of you.
Go back.
Go
That
back
was
to that. Yeah, that's crazy right there.
Yeah, even though, you go back another one, I think, that's a walk-in closet, the one on the right.
More and more common.
Yeah.
People have stuff. I think we got 10 minutes left, so. But people have stuff. I mean, walk-in closets are absolutely gaudy, but that's how it is right now.
And this picture doesn't do it justice, right,
No.
Danny? We
Yeah.
were there. That's like a 20-foot long room, without exaggerating.
It goes on forever.
Yeah.
So go one more. Do we supply that? Is that something that Drexel does? And what is that called?
So that's either a ceramic or porcelain tile. All of the homes we saw, every bathroom was tile shower other than one modular, even in the lower level.
So
there was
you
tile.
will design that.
Yeah.
We will install that all, and we'll help you
Absolutely.
figure that out.
Absolutely.
Ceramic or porcelain? Explain to me the differences.
So ceramic is like a clay-bodied tile, where
Mhm.
porcelain is typically like why am I drawing a blank? But typically porcelain is stronger than a ceramic. However, once it's down, most people can't tell.
Porcelain is perceived high-end,
Correct.
right? But ceramic,
More rectified edges, things like that.
right, architectural spec, interior
Yeah.
designer spec, but ceramic will usually get the job done.
Yep, absolutely. They did have a lot of quartz in the showers as well, either on the benches or on the curb top, which I don't think you can see.
Which
in-
is actually like a countertop, but
Correct.
but
They
they just to
used the
change
same
that up.
material from the makeup
Right.
area as the bench, and then the curb was as well.
Right, very clean and simple. No one's ever going to use that tub. I think they're gaudy and ridiculous and a
It's
waste.
beautiful though.
Yeah, they pop. It's just a complete $6,000 waste. We talked before about how to save money. Take that stupid thing out. You're gonna tub in that once a year if you're lucky.
Should get rid of those big ones out, jet stuff.
You're gonna use that more. I mean, I think you have a real conversation, honey. Are you gonna use a tub? Right? I mean, I think there's. I mean, nobody handicapped can use that. Nobody in a wheelchair can use that. Like, where's that gonna be?
I don't think it looks like
Same thing in a shower. I would highly recommend going. Just had my son was on crutches for 5 months. Things happen in people's lives, even if you're just a couple,
Yep.
young or old. Straight walk in. There should be no lip there. We're
And we
past
can-
that.
The builder can frame that down
Yeah.
or.
Yeah, don't let them tell you they can't frame it down. They can frame it down and we'll make no lip into your shower so we can wheel you in with a wheelchair if we have to.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to put a 3-foot door in most houses with a wheelchair access. Make all your doors on the first floor 3-foot doors. Please, 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 if you're getting this on a podcast, 3-foot doors on your first floor. That way you can wheel people around in wheelchairs. It's from 2.8 to 3.0. It's 4 inches. It's not gonna cost you anything, a couple $100. Do it. Thank me later.
The only thing is we gotta make our hallways wider, so it gets be a little bit of a struggle from the design aspect of it.
Make them wider. Make your house bigger. It's not a struggle. It's gonna make your house bigger.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, you only have so many hallways, so you're literally talking your house is another foot wider.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, don't do it later in don't do it later in design. That's when the designers will.
Yes, yeah.
Do it early in the design. Don't tell anyone 3-foot doors be on the. It's a minor last change, 3-foot doors. No, that actually changes a lot because now we stretch everything out that
Yep, exactly.
8, 10, 12
Yeah,
inches.
that's it.
Which every one of these houses had what, like 6, 8, 10-foot hallways in the second
Yeah.
floor?
Yeah, massive hallways are in right now.
Yeah.
High school aisle hallways.
Right,
Yeah, I think we have a picture of it. We
I
may.
think we do.
I remember one of those pictures. So we're just kind of scrolling through here.
There, go back. See how wide that hallway is?
Yeah.
And then the actual doors to the bedrooms were recessed in 2 feet.
Is that sliding door right there?
This one? Yeah.
Yeah, barn
Right,
doors.
so in our opinion, in Wisconsin, a complete waste of space, right?
Right.
Agreed.
Heating conditions, waste of space, but again, you get this library, hotel feel, right? That's the feel they were looking for,
Yep.
I think is what I would call that.
Yeah, it was like a hotel. When we walked up the steps, you're like, whoa, what is this?
And it gives you a wow factor, so again, it's all about that bang.
Which windows?
Go back to that. Oh,
One more.
again, there's those windows,
Look
right?
at those
There's
windows,
picture windows, simple grills, but again, look at that, how they're looking at it, right? Big wow factor, that's that transition from the outside to in.
Sure. Look at he's at least 6 feet tall, Marshall.
At
So
least.
yeah, so that's over a 12-foot window.
But again, totally pops in a wow factor.
Yep.
A lot of cool metal railings. There were a couple cool wood railings that were similar to that as well.
Somebody told me that recently, never do those horizontal railings either. What would be a favorite thing for a 2-year-old to do?
Climb
So
up
there's a
them.
ladder.
That is a non-stop ladder for a 2 or 3-year-old, and there'd be no way to stop that. I would highly recommend not doing that. If you ever think you're gonna have a kid in your house, which you probably will at some point, because that will make a young parent go batty. Okay, are we at that point? Hold on, we are probably past that point. This was great. This went so quick.
Yeah.
We didn't even know this was gonna go. We didn't get to any cultural stuff. We didn't talk about COVID, God, politics, or anything. Very rare. Kinda, right? Didn't talk about sports.
No, we didn't. What's
We
the
got
number?
right to it.
What's the number?
This is probably the most contented-filled podcast we've ever done.
Yeah.
What's the number?
Like, famous.
Oh, famous 60s. I can't even do that. I want to just stay right here. We're going to stay right in this content. We're not even doing famous
There
60s.
aren't any famous 60s.
That's why we're not doing it. Okay, but we are going to finish with the billboard. You get one big giant billboard. You've been on podcasts before. You can change your billboard. Say, I've always said this billboard. This is still my billboard. I think things do change in life. You have a mantra for a while. You move on. You read a book. You read a scripture Bible. You see something on a billboard, and things change in life, and that's totally good. I think that's the patterns of life. I don't know what happens in eternity. Do you still have them different thoughts? I suppose, right? Your soul doesn't change, so I'm guessing you do. Maybe it's more focused for me. Hopefully my life's more focused. Maybe it's totally more frantic. I don't know.
I just know it's going to be awesome.
I won't even say it's going to be awesome. I hope to find out. Hope I'm part of that journey. I really do. But yeah, we were told it's going to be awesome. I'm guessing it's better than we can think. Danny, you go first.
Oh gosh, so mine is lyrics to a song. I'm a Dave Matthews Band fan. Laugh at me. Sorry.
How many times have you went? You can't laugh. They're
Like
great.
25 times.
You and Keith Banhorst?
I'm sure he's been in all the same ones I've been in.
You haven't had the conversation though?
Yeah, I talked to him a few years ago. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
And
I
he's
love
been to,
Dave.
I think, 50.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he goes to them constantly. But 20s plus?
20 plus for
Wow.
sure.
And she just was one to
Yeah,
one, right?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Keith was there.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
So mine would be Life is Short.
He's like 68, right? 58?
Oh God, I don't know.
He's not.
I can
young.
Google it.
You
He's
Google
not
David
like-
Matthew age while you say it. Go ahead, Dan.
Life is short but sweet for certain. So celebrate we will. So just do the damn thing. Do what
Life
you
is
want.
short, sweet for certain.
55.
55.
Oh, you were off. 68?
I don't know. I must have thought 55 was old. This makes me old. 68's really old. It's not Steve Miller's 79 old. So yeah, 55. He's no spring chicken though either.
No. He's still good though.
Is he? Yeah, still a good concert.
Yeah.
New every time.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah, ish.
Enough to make it interesting.
Yeah.
Any good cover songs? 2 weeks ago.
Not this last
Not this one.
Not
What
that I
was one of your
super
favorite covers you
stoked
did?
about.
Do you remember?
Oh gosh, I don't know. There's so many. I
Yeah,
don't know.
lots of them.
Lots of them.
Lots of fun.
Yeah.
I like that quote. That's a good quote.
Yep. That is, yep.
Yeah. And it is short.
So mine actually addresses what you said a little earlier. I would put on there, who do you say I am? And under it, Jesus. It's Jesus asking the question. He has 307 questions in the New Testament, Jesus, when he was teaching, but that question is the most important one. Because if you get that answer right, then eternity is for certain. If you understand who Jesus is, that he is the Son of God, our Savior and our Lord, you get that one right, then you're guaranteed you're in.
If I can expand on that, I love both of those. Those are great. If I can expand that, I've had a few people question their faith, and I think it's absolutely. I think wherever you are, I think every youth should question their faith. I think forcing faith on people is not the right path. But I think everyone questions their faith. I hope they do. I hope you do. I hope we all do. Right?
Yep.
For me, I hope everyone reviews everything. I've read Buddhist stuff. I think that's great. And I've challenged people that have questioned their faith and have asked me about it is, like, I think so many people think Jesus is Santa Claus, right? I think we're doctrined by Santa Claus. I'm like, first of all, he's not Santa Claus, right? Who do you say I am? Like, if you think he's Santa Claus, well, then do you think Julius Caesar's Santa Claus?
Right.
Right? Do you think Marcus Aurelius is Santa Claus? These are people that lived before Jesus. Right, like he's written in the same documents as Pontius Pilate, Julius Caesar, Marcus Aurelius, right? I mean, so Socrates, like, do you say, well, Socrates wasn't a real human?
Jesus, right? Pontius
What?
Pilate.
What?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he signed off, as he would say, he washed his hands. He would, to this day, I'm guessing he would say, I still didn't kill Jesus, I just other people did. But, these were real, true Roman people, and there's real, true documents of Jesus, right? So there was a Jesus, and one of my favorite things to tell people, if you think about it, if you want the short version of who Jesus is, right? The guy never had an even if you don't think, so he never had we'll just go this way. He never had an education. He never was rich. He was never powerful. He led no man besides 12 that weren't rich or powerful. He used no weapons. He owned no country. He never won a government election. Yet he is the most famous historical figure in history. Right? And who did he say he was? He did not say, I am a poet. He did not say, I'm a words of wisdom. He didn't say, I was a creative guy. He didn't say, I'm just really smart. He didn't say, I love everyone and I'm just here to tell everybody I love. I didn't say I was a musician like Dave Matthews. He literally said, I'm the Son of God. So he was either nuts or correct. That's it. And then the people that followed him were actually real people. Like I still think so many people think it's Santa Claus. He was a real person, right? You're going to school for law, right? Like you should debate that in law. Like he's a real person. And these 12 people were real. Like that's factual. So if they were real, he literally was put to death on a cross. That's real. That's factual. It's written down. Just like you can read how Marcus Aurelius died or Julius Caesar got stabbed in the back. That's all really real, right? We believe Julius Caesar got stabbed in the back by Brutus. That's not fake. That's like real. We think it's real, right? So he died on a cross, got put to death, right? Like hundreds of people witnessed it and wrote it down and then wrote it. Yeah, I saw him come back to life. What the hell's that? And like the 12 apostles, what, 11 of them died by execution? Or all of them? Like they're literally like, no, I saw him die. You can shoot me. I'm good. I'm going to heaven. Like I think at one point they're like, no, I was just kidding, dude. Like I didn't actually see him come back to life, but like he's the Son of God, right? Don't shoot me. They're like, no, I'm good, right? I mean, St. Peter was killed upside down on a cross because he said, I'm not worthy to die like Jesus. Hang me upside down on a cross. I'm good. What the hell is that, right? To me, like, as you said, who do you say I am? I'd be more like, we owe it to ourselves to you figure out who Jesus is. And the people that do that are led to him. Because you will find historically, you have basically no choice, in my opinion.
Yep.
And life is sweet.
Yep.
That's all we got. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming on. Love you guys.
Thank you.
Line's not cheap. Peace.